This is complete garbage. Rence was doing his job and they throw him in prison like he's some criminal?
He saved people, for crying out loud. How can they not see that? Amy set him up. It wasn't about justice, it was about revenge.
We can't leave him in there. Rence has been with us since day one. The Hero League isn't the same without him.
We all know the law won't work in our favor. Rence is a hero, and they're treating him like a villain. If we want him back, we're going to have to take matters into our own hands.
Breaking him out is against everything we've been trained to do, but this isn't about the law anymore. This is about loyalty. Rence would do the same for any of us.
Exactly. We're not just going to sit here and let him rot in some cell while the Hero League falls apart without him. We need to break him out, period.
Then it's settled. We're going to Chicago, but we need a plan.
We'll need to split into 2 teams. One team sneaks into the prison and gets Rence out quietly. The other team stays outside, ready to cause a distraction or fight if it all goes wrong.
Well, sneaking in isn't exactly my specialty, but I can hold the line outside. Trust me, they won't know what hit them if things go south.
I'll be with Dugan. I can create a massive distraction if needed. A little lightning storm should keep the guards busy.
I'll go with Zach on the inside. I can use my powers to manipulate the plant life around the prison, cover our tracks, and help us stay hidden. Once we're in, Zach can use his telekinesis to unlock doors and keep things quiet.
I'll go with the sneaking team. I know the layout of the Chicago prison. I've been there before, for a mission, of course. With my experience and your powers, we'll get in and out before anyone realizes what's happening.
All right, but we're not taking the van. That's too obvious. We'll need one of the other Hero League vehicles, something that blends in more with normal traffic.
There's an armored truck in the garage. It looks like a delivery vehicle, but it's League modified for operations like this. That'll be our ride.
So, the plan is simple. Dugan, me, and whoever else wants to stay outside will cause a distraction if needed. Chris, Zach, and Callaway sneak in, get Rence, and we get out of there. If it gets ugly, we fight.
We're doing this for Rence. We owe him that much.
Let's just hope the guards are ready for a little heroic intervention. Because if they're not, we'll make sure they know we're there.
Then it's decided. We leave tonight. Pack light, prepare for the worst, and remember, we're not just breaking out a friend. We're breaking out the heart of the Hero League.
The group nodded in agreement, each of them mentally preparing for what lay ahead. This was more than just a rescue mission. This was about loyalty, justice, and reclaiming what was rightfully theirs. And no prison in Chicago, or anywhere else, was going to stop them from bringing Mr. Rence back.
You ready for this?
Let's go break Rence out of prison.
And with that, the Hero League was officially on the move, prepared to do whatever it took to save their friend, even if it meant going against the very laws they'd sworn to protect. The group moved with purpose, determination etched on each of their faces as they climbed the stairs to Connor's office. They knew they couldn't leave without telling him what they were about to do, even if it meant defying orders. The Hero League couldn't sit idly by while one of their own was wrongfully imprisoned.
Connor, we need to talk. You're not gonna like it, but we're doing this for the Hero League.
Connor leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly.
What's going on?
We're going to break Mr. Rence out of prison. We can't just leave him there. He's been wrongfully arrested, and it's all because of Amy's personal vendetta. The League can't afford to lose him.
You're aware that what you're proposing is against the law, right? The League is supposed to uphold justice, not break it, we know, but this isn't about breaking the law, this is about doing what's right. The justice system failed, Mr. Rence. He doesn't belong in prison. The League needs him.
Connor stood from his chair, walking around the desk.
Do you all understand the consequences of this? If you go through with this, you'll be labeled as vigilantes, not heroes. You'll be breaking the very rules we've sworn to protect.
We've considered that, Connor. But we can't let the League fall apart because of a technicality. Mr. Rence is a hero, and you know it. We're doing this for him, and for the Hero League. Without him, we lose more than just a teammate. We lose the heart of what we stand for.
Connor looked at each of them in turn, weighing their resolve.
You're serious about this. I won't stop you, but know that if this goes wrong, I can't protect you. You'll be on your own.
We know the risks. We're ready to face them.
We're not going to let Mr. Rence just sit there and take the fall. We'll get him out one way or another.
Fine, do what you have to do, but be careful. This isn't just about Rence anymore. This is about the reputation of the League.
We'll be careful. We're not looking to make a scene, just to get our friend back.
With that, the group turned and left Connor's office, their resolve even stronger than before. They had his blessing, at least as much as he could give under the circumstances, and now it was time to act. They descended to the garage, the sound of their footsteps echoing through the halls of Hero League headquarters. When they reached the large open space where the League's vehicles were stored, they immediately spotted the armored truck Mr. Callaway had mentioned.
Everyone ready?
Let's do this.
I'll drive. You guys sit tight. It's going to be a long ride.
The group climbed into the truck, the weight of their decision fully sinking in as they strapped in and prepared for what lay ahead. Zach, sitting near the front, looked at Mr. Callaway.
You sure we've got everything we need?
We'll figure it out as we go. This is a rescue mission. We adapt, we move fast, and we don't stop until Rence is out.
As the truck roared to life, Colton looked out the window, watching the headquarters shrink behind them.
We're really doing this, huh?
For Rence, for the League.
With that, Mr. Dugan hit the gas, and the armored truck sped off into the night, heading straight for the Chicago prison where their friend and fellow hero was waiting.
I'm not saying a word. I know exactly what's going on here.
And what's that exactly?
I know you're friends with Amy. This whole thing, this so-called interrogation, it's a joke. You're not here to get the truth. You're here to back up her vendetta. Whatever I say to you, you'll just pass straight to her.
Oh, is that what you think?
I know it. I know my rights, and I know how this works. You're biased. You're not looking for justice. You're looking for a way to make Amy's case stronger. That's why I'm not talking to you. No matter what you ask, I'm staying silent.
You really think your friends are coming to get you? Colton, Zach, Chris, and the rest of those wannabe heroes? They're not coming. They know better. They're smart enough to stay out of this.
You don't know them at all if you think that. They're coming. Maybe not now, maybe not tonight, but they'll be here. You can try to play mind games with me, but it's not going to work. I know my team. I know my friends.
I'm telling you, Rence, they're not coming. No one's going to risk everything for you. You're just a guy who crashed a van too many times, and now you're paying the price. That's it.
You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. My team knows I was set up. They know the truth. And more importantly, they know who I am. We've been through too much together for them to just leave me behind. They're coming. It's just a matter of time.
You're delusional. You're all alone in here. The sooner you accept that, the easier this is going to be. If you talk now, maybe I can make things a little easier for you.
You really think I'm scared of you? I'm not. I've faced villains who could melt cities. You think a little prison sentence is going to break me? No. You can try to intimidate me all you want, but I know what's going on here. I'm not giving you anything.
You're making a big mistake, Rence.
No, you're the one making the mistake. You think my team's going to just let me rot in here? You're wrong. They're coming. And when they do, you'll see exactly what we're capable of. This isn't over.
We'll see about that.
He wasn't scared, not really. He had faith in his team. They wouldn't abandon him. And no matter what that officer or Amy thought, he knew his friends were coming. All he had to do was wait.
So, how's it going, Rence? Not quite the hero life you're used to, is it?
I knew it. I knew that officer was on your side, and now here you are, walking in like you own the place, proving exactly what I said. This whole thing is a setup. You think you're being clever, but you're not. You've been pulling the strings from the start.
Oh, come on, Rence. You're not surprised, are you? You know as well as I do that you've been reckless. All those crashes, all that damage. You've been a disaster waiting to happen. I'm just here to make sure you face the consequences.
You're not here for justice, Amy. This is personal, and you know it. Ever since we played that Uno game and kept the van, you've had it out for me, for all of us. Don't pretend this is about the damage I caused. You set this up because you want to see me fall. You can't stand the fact that we won.
You're right, it is personal. But that doesn't make it any less justified. You've been hiding behind your powers, breaking the law and getting away with it for too long. And now, you're sitting in this chair because of your own actions. I didn't force you to crash into those buildings. I didn't force you to break the law. You did that all on your own.
Don't give me that. You know exactly why we've been doing what we do. You know what we've been up against. We've saved this city time and time again, and the only reason you're going after me is because of your stupid grudge. You're using the system to punish me for something as petty as a van and a card game.
I don't think you quite understand, Rence. This isn't just about a card game or a van anymore. It's about showing the world that even heroes like you don't get to break the law without consequences. I'm not going to let you or your little team think you're untouchable.
You're not going to win this. You think you've got everything under control, but you don't. My team, they're coming for me, and when they do, this whole charade of yours will come crashing down. You can't keep me in here forever.
You really think Colton, Zach, Chris, and the others are going to storm into a maximum security prison just to save you? They know better. They'll stay out of this because they understand what's at stake. You're all alone, Rence.
You don't know them like I do. They're loyal. We've been through too much for them to just abandon me. You might think you've won, Amy, but you haven't. You're about to find out exactly what we're capable of.
Well, let's hope for your sake they don't try anything stupid. Because if they do, they'll be joining you in a cell before the day is over.
Go ahead, Amy. Enjoy your little victory while you can. It won't last.
We'll see about that.
He wasn't going to let her win. Not like this. His friends were coming, and when they did, this whole nightmare would be over.
How'd it go?
Exactly as I expected. Rence is stubborn, I'll give him that, but he's cracking. He knows he's stuck, but he still holds on to this ridiculous hope that his team will come and break him out. It's almost pathetic.
He still thinks Colton, Zach, Chris, and the others are going to bust him out of prison?
He does. I mean, it's delusional. Does he really think they're going to risk everything just for him? They'd be arrested on sight. But it's typical Rence, always holding on to that false sense of loyalty, like they're some kind of unbreakable unit.
Good. The more he holds on to that false hope, the more likely he'll start to lose focus. He'll get sloppy and eventually he'll slip up.
Exactly. And when that happens, I'll make sure he pays for all of it. Every crash, every bit of property damage, every time he and his team ignored the law for their so-called greater good. I'm going to put an end to this superhero nonsense once and for all.
What's the next step?
We keep the pressure on. He's already agitated. The more we remind him that he's alone in this, the more desperate he'll become. I want him to sit there day after day, thinking about how his team won't come for him, because they won't. And eventually they'll realize that their heroic lifestyle isn't sustainable. One by one, they'll start to back down. And once that happens, I can clean up this mess and make sure those students never put on a costume again.
It's about time someone put an end to it. The students have been reckless, bending the rules and acting like they're above it all.
And once Rence is properly dealt with, the rest will follow. They won't have a leader anymore. Without him, their little team will fall apart.
I can't wait to see it happen. This whole Hero League has been nothing but trouble from the start. They've been lucky so far, but that luck is about to run out.
Rence is the key. Once we break him, the rest will crumble. It's only a matter of time.
You've done well, Amy. We'll see this through, and we'll make sure that the Hero League is nothing more than a distant memory.
We'll make sure of it. Rence thinks his students will always be there for him, but when they see the reality of what being a hero leads to, they'll walk away. And once they do, this whole charade ends.
But as they continued their plans, what neither Amy nor Miss Peel realized was that Colton, Zach, Chris, and the others were coming, and they weren't about to let the Hero League or Mr. Rence go down without a fight. As the armored truck rumbled down the road, the imposing walls of the Chicago prison loomed in the distance. Inside the vehicle, the tension was thick, but Colton, Zach, Chris, Mr. Dugan, and Mr. Callaway were focused. This was no ordinary mission. It was a rescue, and the stakes were as high as they'd ever been.
All right, we're almost there. Let's go over the plan one more time.
We stick to the plan. Callaway, Chris, and I are heading inside. We're going to find Rence, get him out, and get back to the truck. Dugan, you and Colton stay outside and cover us in case things go sideways.
If it goes wrong, don't worry about it. Colton and I will make sure they're too busy dealing with us to worry about you guys.
We'll use the trees and plants around the prison to cover our tracks. If we stay low, we can get in and out without drawing attention.
We enter through the east side. There's a loading dock with minimal security. It'll give us access to the lower levels where Rence is likely being held. Once we're in, Zach can unlock doors and I'll lead us through the maze.
And if something goes wrong?
We improvise.
The truck slowed as they neared the prison's outer perimeter. Colton parked in a secluded area behind some tall shrubs, far enough from the main entrance to avoid detection, but close enough to make a quick getaway.
All right, this is it. Let's do this.
The group piled out of the truck, moving quickly and quietly toward the edge of the prison grounds.
This is where we split up. We'll head for the entrance, and you two hold position near the outer fence. Keep an eye out for patrols.
We'll be ready if things go south.
Good luck, man. We'll be waiting.
Chris gave a small nod, then turned and followed Zach and Callaway as they slipped into the shadows, heading for the east entrance.
Zach, you're up.
Zach reached out with his telekinesis, focusing on the lock mechanism. With a soft click, the door swung open.
We're in.
Chris followed close behind, his senses attuned to the environment. He could feel the plant life outside, the grass beneath the concrete, ready to respond to his call if needed. Once inside, they found themselves in a dimly lit hallway, with pipes lining the ceiling and faint sounds of footsteps echoing in the distance. Mr. Callaway took point, guiding them through the maze of corridors.
He's probably being held in the lower levels. We need to find the service elevator.
Let's move fast. The longer we're in here, the higher the chance someone notices.
Colton and Mr. Dugan positioned themselves just outside the perimeter fence, hidden behind thick bushes and trees. Colton's eyes were constantly scanning the area, looking for any signs of guards or trouble.
This feels too easy. Something doesn't feel right.
Maybe we're just that good. Besides, if something goes wrong, I'm itching to slice through a few guards.
Yeah, let's try to keep this low-key if we can.
No promises.
Suddenly, Colton's eyes narrowed as he spotted movement near the main entrance. A guard was patrolling the perimeter, heading in their direction.
Stay down.
The guard walked past them, his flashlight sweeping lazily across the ground. Colton waited, his heart pounding until the guard moved out of sight.
That was close.
I was hoping he'd get a little closer.
Zach, Chris, and Mr. Callaway reached the service elevator, and Zach once again used his telekinesis to manipulate the controls. The doors slid open with a soft ding, and they stepped inside, descending into the lower levels.
This is where they'll be holding him. We find Rence and we get out of here. Simple.
The elevator doors opened, revealing a long hallway lined with cells. They moved cautiously, scanning each cell for any sign of Mr. Rence.
There.
Mr. Rence was sitting inside, his head down, but he immediately looked up when he heard them approach. His eyes widened in disbelief.
Guys, what the hell are you doing here?
We're getting you out.
Rence stepped out, shaking his head in disbelief.
I told them you'd come, but I didn't think you'd actually do it. You're breaking me out of a prison. This is insane. Welcome to the Hero League. Now let's get the hell out of here.
Damn it, they've been spotted.
Looks like we're going loud.
Let's give them something to think about.
As guards rushed out of the prison, Colton unleashed a blast of electricity into the sky, creating a deafening thunderclap. The guards hesitated, unsure of what they were facing. Dugan, grinning wildly, leapt into action, his blades cutting through the air as he charged toward the guards.
They know we're here.
We don't have much time. Head for the exit.
As they reached the loading dock, the door burst open, and they ran into the night. Colton and Mr. Dugan were already fighting off guards, giving them just enough time to pile into the truck.
Get in!
With Mr. Rence safely inside, Colton slammed on the gas and the truck sped off into the night, leaving the chaos of the prison behind them.
You guys are crazy, you know that?
We know.
But it worked.
Welcome back, Rence. Now let's figure out what comes next.
The Hero League had broken their leader out of prison, but the consequences of their actions were only just beginning.
That's the alarm for the high security wing. Something's wrong.
You don't think...
Let's go.
They made their way through the winding corridors of the prison, weaving between guards and prisoners alike, until they reached the lower levels where Mr. Rence had been held. The alarms blared louder here, and as they approached his cell, Amy felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Her worst fears were confirmed when they reached Rence's cell. The door was wide open, and inside it was completely empty.
No, they've broken him out.
I can't believe it. They actually did it. They're going to ruin everything.
Amy's face hardened, a mixture of fury and frustration contorting her features. She quickly scanned the area, looking for any clue of where they might have gone.
We need to stop them, now.
They rushed back down the hallway, pushing past guards who were scrambling to figure out what had happened. As they burst through the front doors of the prison, they spotted the armored truck speeding away in the distance, its taillights barely visible as it disappeared down the road.
There, we have to catch them.
Without wasting another second, Amy and Miss Peel raced across the prison yard to where Miss Peel's car was parked. They jumped in, Amy behind the wheel, and Miss Peel barely had time to fasten her seatbelt before Amy floored the gas pedal, sending the car screeching out of the lot in pursuit of the truck.
We can't let them get away.
If they make it out of the city, we'll lose them. You know they've planned this out. They're not just going to disappear.
I don't care what they've planned. They think they've won, but they haven't. We're going to catch them, and when we do, they'll wish they never tried this.
As they sped through the streets of Chicago, the truck containing Mr. Rence and the others was only just visible ahead, weaving through traffic as they tried to make their getaway. Amy's face twisted into a determined scowl, her foot pressing harder on the accelerator.
I won't let them win. This is my city, and I'll be damned if they think they can defy me.
Are you sure about this? They've already broken Rence out. If we don't handle this carefully, it could blow up in our faces.
I don't care what it takes. They broke the law. They don't get to walk away from this. Not this time.
The chase was on, and as the distance between the two vehicles closed, Amy and Miss Peel prepared themselves for a confrontation they knew was inevitable.
Damn it, she's blocked us in.
We can't ram through her car without risking the truck breaking down. We need another way out.
This is bad. If we don't move fast, the guards will catch up. We've got maybe a minute before things get ugly.
I have an idea.
What do you mean you have an idea? We're boxed in, man.
You guys remember the explosive Mountain Dew?
You don't mean...
Wait, you don't have one, do you?
I always keep one for emergencies. It's just in a place you wouldn't expect.
You can't be serious.
Trust me, this might be our only way out. It's the last bottle I've got, and I've kept it safe for a reason.
You've been walking around with an explosive Mountain Dew bottle in your rectum?
Man, that's dedication, but really?
Without a word, and much to the horror of everyone in the truck, Mr. Rence retrieved the bottle, his face one of determination.
This is what we've got, and it's gonna work. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Just be careful with that thing. You know what happened last time we used it. I'm not blowing up the whole car, just the tires. We need to disable Amy's vehicle so we can get out of here.
He began to unscrew the cap, carefully controlling the volatile concoction. With a deep breath, Mr. Rence cracked open the window and hurled the bottle at Amy's car. The bottle spun through the air, and as it struck the pavement near Amy's tires, it exploded with a deafening boom. A shockwave rippled outward, and the 4 tires of Amy's car blew out simultaneously, sending rubber and debris flying in all directions.
What the hell?
The entire front of the truck erupted in cheers as they realized the plan had worked.
Rence, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, but it worked.
I can't believe that just happened.
I'll never question you again, Rence.
Man, you're insane, but I'm glad you're on our side.
Meanwhile, outside the truck, Amy's face twisted into a mask of pure fury. She threw open her door, storming out to inspect the damage. Her car sat in the middle of the road, completely immobilized, with its tires blown to bits.
They're getting away, again.
What now?
We're not done yet. They won this round, but I swear they're not getting away with this.
Inside the truck, Colton gunned the engine.
All right, let's move before she calls back up. We've got to get out of here.
The truck roared back to life, and the group sped off down the road, leaving behind the wreckage of Amy's car and her mounting rage. Mr. Rence, now relaxed but still catching his breath from the chaos, leaned back with a grin.
Told you guys I had it covered.
As the truck sped away into the night, the group knew this was far from over. But for now, they had won a small victory.
The group entered Connor's office at Hero League headquarters, still buzzing with adrenaline from the events of the night. Mr. Rence, now free and safe, took a deep breath as he walked into the familiar room. Connor stood from his desk, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth when he saw them all together.
Well, look who's back. Rence, it's good to see you again. Looks like your team pulled off quite the operation.
Good to be back, Connor. Couldn't have done it without them.
The plan went down smoothly, but we ran into some complications along the way.
Complications? I'm guessing Amy and Miss Peel didn't take kindly to your little jailbreak.
You could say that. After we got Rence out, Amy blocked the road. She had us pinned in.
But Rence here had a secret weapon.
Secret weapon?
He had a bottle of his explosive Mountain Dew hidden in a very unconventional place.
You're telling me you carried a bottle of that stuff in your rectum?
It's not something I'm proud of, but desperate times call for desperate measures. It worked, didn't it?
You're insane, Rence, but I've got to admit, that's genius, so you blew up their car with it.
All 4 tires, actually. It was the only way we could get out without ramming her car.
Impressive, but this isn't over. Amy's not going to let this slide, and we can't keep running. It's time we deal with her once and for all.
What are you thinking?
We need to bring Amy down. She's been a thorn in our side for too long, and she's crossed the line by using the system against us. It's time to make sure she can't cause any more damage.
You want us to arrest her?
Exactly. Amy's the one who's been manipulating everything from behind the scenes, using her connections in the school district and with law enforcement to come after us. But she's crossed the line into outright criminal behavior, by orchestrating Rence's wrongful imprisonment. We need to put an end to it.
But how do we do it? She's still technically operating under the law, at least on paper.
Not anymore. By trying to take Rence down without just cause, and by conspiring to use the system for her own gain, she's violated multiple ethical standards and probably a few laws. We've got enough evidence to justify an arrest.
Where is she now?
She'll be at the administrative building. Amy's never far from her office when she's plotting something. We need to act fast before she has time to retaliate or run.
Let me do it. She's made this personal, and it's time to settle this once and for all.
I figured you'd say that, Rence, but I want backup with you. Someone else needs to go along in case she tries something.
I'll go with him. We'll take her down together.
Be careful. Amy's smart. She'll have a plan ready, but we have to make sure we take her without causing more damage. Bring her back here to Hero League prison. She needs to answer for what she's done.
You can do this. Just don't let her get in your head again.
I won't. This ends now.
Good luck, and Rence. No more explosive Mountain Dew in weird places, all right?
The room erupted in laughter again, cutting through the tension before Colton and Mr. Rence headed out to confront Amy for the last time. The Hero League's future depended on what they would do next. Colton and Mr. Rence arrived at the administrative building where Amy's office was located. The sun had long set, casting the campus in a soft, eerie glow. The building itself was quiet, with only a few lights flickering inside. Rence, feeling a surge of adrenaline, stepped forward and knocked on Amy's office door. The sound echoed in the stillness of the hallway, but there was no response.
You sure she's here?
She's always here when she's scheming. It doesn't make sense for her to just disappear now.
After a few more moments of silence, Colton exchanged a look with Rence before slowly pushing the door open. The room beyond was dark, lit only by the faint glow of streetlights outside. Papers were scattered across the desk, but the chair was empty. No sign of Amy.
Where the hell is she?
She's gone. Doesn't look like she left in a hurry, but she's definitely not here.
This doesn't make sense. She knew we were coming. Why would she just vanish?
Maybe she caught wind of what we were planning and bolted. But if she's not here, we don't have many options. We need to get back to Connor and regroup.
Yeah, let's get back. Maybe he'll have an idea of where she's gone.
Without another word, they both left the empty office and made their way back to Hero League headquarters, the mystery of Amy's disappearance gnawing at them. Far from the Hero League, Amy pulled her car into a shadowy parking lot, lit only by a few flickering street lamps. The building in front of her was old and decrepit, the kind of place most people wouldn't dare approach. But she wasn't most people anymore. She stepped out of her car and hurried to the entrance, her heart racing. She knocked on the large metal door frantically, the sound reverberating in the silence. After a few moments, the door creaked open, and a tall, muscular figure stood in the doorway. His skin was pale, almost reptilian, and his eyes glinted with cold amusement.
And who might you be?
My name's Amy. I know who you are, Snake, and I know what the Villain League is about.
Is that so? And what does someone like you want with us?
I want in.
Into the Villain League? And why should we care what you want?
I want revenge. I want revenge on the Hero League. They've ruined everything. I tried to do things the right way. I tried to use the system to bring them down, but it wasn't enough. Now I'm ready to take things into my own hands.
Revenge, huh? Sounds like a classic villain story, but we don't just take anyone. What can you offer us?
I have resources, knowledge. I've been inside the Hero League. I know how they operate. I can help you take them down.
The snake studied her for a long moment, weighing her words. He could see the desperation in her eyes, but also the fire. There was something there, something they could use. Finally, he stepped back and motioned for her to come inside.
Let's see what you've got. You might just have found yourself a new home, Amy, but remember, there's no going back once you're one of us.
Amy stepped through the doorway, her heart pounding with both fear and anticipation. She wasn't the same person anymore. She was ready to embrace her new role. And if the Hero League thought they'd seen the last of her, they were dead wrong. The door slammed shut behind her, sealing her fate. Amy had crossed the line, and there was no turning back. Now she was ready to become a villain. And this time she wouldn't stop until the Hero League was destroyed, to be continued.